The power of empathy. And so often we are critical of what we do not understand. And so this was actually an amazing concept to recognize that if I put myself in the position to understand, it'll change my perspective. And one thing powerful, when someone takes time to understand you, when someone takes time to empathize with you, you feel loved. And so when we look at the very first slide here, we'll see a picture. And what I need you to do is just shout out real loud what you're seeing. Okay, what do you see in that picture? A young lady? Some people see a young lady, some people see an old woman. Pardon? There's a witch or an old lady. Do you see a young lady? Okay, you can see both of them. Is there anybody, what can you not see? You can see both. Is there anyone that cannot see one? You just see the old lady. So to see the young lady, just picture what is the top of the old lady's nose, and there it is, a woman looking back, and she has her eyelash and the little tip of her nose. The old lady's eye is the young lady's ear. The old lady's mouth is the young lady's necklace. See, we must recognize that sometimes it takes a focused effort and a choice and a determination to see something from someone else's perspective. See, the ability to connect and relate with another person, what they feel and how they perceive a particular situation is really what empathy is. So when we looked at that picture, some saw the old lady, some saw the young lady, but it took a little bit of time for you to see both of them. And see, that's really powerful because that is something that we have to do in life every day. We all have different callings, purposes. We all have different skills, abilities, personalities, values. So we must take the time as leaders to walk with the power of empathy, to take the time to relate and connect to someone else. When we see something from another's perspective, it'll cause us to function in compassion, understanding, identification, and responsiveness. That's powerful. So we're going to go to the next slide, and you'll be able to see two pictures here. Either you will see immediately a goblet, or you'll see two faces looking at each other. But what you'll see first is that automatic pattern of thought. So a lot of times our first reaction is from an automatic place of thought, and we just lock ourselves into that, and that's just the way it is, and we get in all these arguments and throwing out our opinions, when in actuality we might see the same picture. We just might see the same picture from different perspectives. We might be going in the same direction. We might even be saying the same things but using different words. And so you can get into discussions or arguments rather than taking the time to see from that person's perspective. That's empathy. The next slide, you could either see a rabbit or a duck. If it's a rabbit, its ears are pushed back. It's like you're petting the rabbit's head. If you see a duck, the duck is what were the ears of the rabbit are the bills of the duck. But it takes time to see both of those. The next slide is a very interesting one. And this slide, you'll see some people, I say, is that woman moving to the left or to the right? And this one, you'll get 5, 6, 7 different opinions. And we could spend the next 15 minutes just trying to figure this out. And it's so much fun because some sees the lady moving clockwise. The others see him moving counterclockwise. Some people see the women on the outside moving one direction and the woman on the inside moving another. And maybe it's because of the colors here, or maybe because of this or that, and we have all these different conclusions as we look at that. And so it's very important for us to recognize that in this particular situation, we could have 5, 6, 7 different opinions, not just 2. It's based upon our perspective, the lens in which through we see. So empathy is giving value, honor, and respect and validation to the state of another human being. It's taking the time to understand why. Almost every relational conflict, it's because it's a different perspective. It's not that people are against each other, it's just a different perspective. So we need to take time to understand why. And honestly, if we don't take time to understand, then really we need to keep our opinions to ourselves. We want to be a leader of validation. In a self-centered, look out for number one world, we see independence rather than interdependence and validation. And what happens when we walk in that, it creates emotional walls. It creates legalism and perfectionism in interpersonal relationships. So often we demand perfection of ourselves, so we demand it of others, and we expect our relationship to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, something is wrong with you. When we don't take time to empathize, we'll begin to walk in entitlement mindsets. We'll expect more and commit less. And we'll have self-focused decision making because it's just the way I see it. And a lot of times, and I say this as an assertive personality, but a lot of times assertive personalities, they will fight to the death for their opinion. And you might be saying the exact same thing that they're saying, but you are determined that your way, they have got to be convinced of the way that you see it, rather than focusing on taking time to see the way they see it and trying to listen to their words to say, hey, we're saying the same thing. That's great. Because see, the power of a team is bringing all perspectives together so we make a better decision. I've learned through the years, when I was the final decision maker, we made a whole lot more mistakes than when I pulled a team together and we made a decision together as a team. And now I have this amazing team around me that they'll say, Mama, I don't think you want to do that. Or Mama, they'll say something, okay, let me listen to your perspective. But see, that's powerful. And that's also a place of protection when we have empathy for each other and we take time to see things from others' perspective, because guess what? If there is a blind spot in my life, they can help me see that and overcome that. My staff has done that for me. And I know the areas that I could be blindsided, so I hear their voice in my ears and I click into wisdom rather than what is natural for me to function in. Some people think only intellect counts, knowing how to solve problems and knowing how to get by, knowing how to identify an advantage and seize it. But the functions of intellect are insufficient without courage, love, friendship, compassion, and empathy. See, this is not idealistic. And so some people might think that now you're getting off into all this idealistic stuff and it really doesn't apply to leadership and all those things. See, our society and our culture is demanding these strong leaders and doing this and doing that. But I want to quote a famed humanitarian, somebody who won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979. They had organizations in 123 countries. They spoke before the U.S. Congress, the United Nations, and governmental agencies all over the world. And this is what they said. People are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you are kind, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today may be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness will make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People need help but will attack you if you help them. Help them anyway. Give the world the best you got and you're going to get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best you've got anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it's between you and God. It was never between you and them anyway. That was Mother Teresa. See, empathy for others. Empathy comes from a word empath, meaning into the sorrow and suffering of. See, that's the ability to recognize emotions that are being experienced by others. So when I'm able to enter into their perspectives, enter into how they feel, enter into what must be going on in their lives, that's empathy. Remember, the human brain is a highly social organ, and most of the processes operating in the background when your brain is at rest is involved in thinking about other people and yourself. See, without the desire and ability to communicate the value to others, genuine relationships and doors of opportunity will gradually disappear. See, we must recognize my competence might get me somewhere, maybe a recommendation might get me somewhere, but if I don't have genuine relationships and I can't bring validation and I can't have empathy in those situations, those doors will begin to close. If you can't have empathy and have effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are, you're not going to get very far. And that's Daniel Goleman, the man who coined emotional intelligence, or EQ. Whether that's personally or professionally. Remember, our brains are wired for love. Empathy is a natural neurological response. Your brains were created to function in empathy. Now you can see this picture, and children were shown this picture of someone getting their fingers smashed in the car. When children are shown video clips with situations where they see people suffering pain by coincidence, natural circuits related to pain are being activated in their brain. Did you ever see something and you cringed because you could almost feel how much that hurt? I want to thank you for listening and encourage you to become a part of the Stop Devaluation movement. Be sure to like and follow #StopDevaluation on social media, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and visit StopDevaluation.com for more information and free resources. You can help spread the movement by sharing with others, leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, and most of all, by living a courageous lifestyle of using your power for good. Go out and value someone today. Your life matters, and you can make the world a better place. One word, one choice, one action of validation at a time.